CIO News along with Avaya to our transformation to customer experience exclusive fireside chat. I'm Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and a contributing editor at CIO News. I'm accompanied by Saurabh Lakhanpal, customer experience domain specialist from Avaya. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website, which is cionews.co.in, and our LinkedIn handle, which is CIO News. Businesses are built with experiences. They provide every day. Millions of those experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is shaping what's next for the future of work with innovation and partnership that deliver game-changing business benefits. Let me dive in introducing our moderator and guest for today. Our moderator is Saurabh Lakhanpal. He's a domain specialist from Avaya Customer Experience Solution. He has an avid CX advocate with 12 years of experience in providing contact center and workforce optimization solutions. He's worked in roles like pre-sales, solution consulting, and sales specialist across global organizations. Saurabh has deep understanding of Avaya contact center solution and workforce engagement solution. Welcome, Saurabh.
Thanks,
Uh,
Kushbu.
I would also want to invite our guest for today. He's Kapil Mahajan, the Group Chief Information Officer and Digital Transformation Leader at Safe Express. He is Kapil has rich experience of 18 plus years. He's known for his sharp technical and business acumen with practices, with expertise in building and executing strategic visions and technology roadmaps that work in alignment with business goals. Welcome, Kapil.
Thanks, Kushbu. Thanks for having me. Hi, Saurabh.
Hello, Kapil.
Over to you, Saurabh.
Right. Thanks, Kapil, for joining us and giving us your valuable time. So, the format for this would be I'll asking you a few questions and would seek your feedback on the response. How are you managing in the current situation and in general in business, right? So I'll
Okay.
start with the first question, which is how important has analytics and AI proved to be when it comes to your customer journey mapping?
Okay, yeah, so interesting question. So, if you look at it, customer journey mapping is actually a way to gather information about your customers, right? And that too, I believe, in the real time in today's context. And as more and more of this information, is gathered, and more constantly, there is a need to be adding new sources to this information. So, which could be new touch points, could be new channels, probably new devices, in order to harness this ever-evolving data. I think this subsequently means that companies will need to make critical investments in data collection, management, and platforms to enable successful utilization of this data. I believe in this context, it's very important that companies use analytics and AI extensively to optimize data collection and performance, which I believe are two key capabilities to enable the true personalization of the digital customer journeys. So I think using AI and analytics, you could really customize your portfolio, your offering, or your services to an individual customer, which in today's world, every customer has to be treated separately and has to you need to figure out a set of offering that works for that customer. And I think the entire customer journey mapping eventually boils down to that one customer that is really could be given that a portfolio of services that really works for him or her. So I believe from that point of view, AI and analytics, we use a lot of it in kind of trying to understand how customers are interacting with us through an omni-channel strategy that is in place, and it gives us a lot of insight into, or rather, it has started giving us insight into how those journey mappings are playing out for us.
Yep. And it's true that they say data is the new oil, and then you can build on it, right? So
Right.
yeah. So next question that I have is based on the current situation of pandemic that we are in, right? So in the current COVID situation, most of the companies are moving work from home. So the question is, how is your company coping up with the current pandemic, and how are you monitoring the employees in the work from home model and still adhering to the compliance?
Okay. Yeah. So, given the nature of our industry, and it being around essential services centered around that, if you look at it, most of our employees, are required to be physically present in the premises, especially, resources that are related to core operational activities, right? So, whether it's on the field or in our hubs or consolidation centers or our franchisees or our delivery, centers. So technically, we do have our core systems accessible over a virtualized application environment, so which addresses the compliance part of it. So your question around compliance is kind of addressed using these virtualized application environments that we have provisioned, and also to an extent using the MDM services that we use for a lot of our franchisee locations as well. So they help us to kind of containerize the company data and provide certain security around it. For most of our other corporate users and senior leadership, we've always had work from home, and it's provisioned on the company assets for quite some time now. So that bit is pretty sorted for us. From your second part of your question was around monitoring. So I believe from a monitoring perspective, our company policy is more focused on ensuring security of the company data and assets. And I would say not really centered around monitoring and invading into employees' workspaces. So I think as long as the assets and the company data is kind of covered, we generally don't look into what someone is doing on the system, or we kind of believe that if, that an employee would be kind of doing justice to whatever role he's playing within the organization.
Good perspective. So, a follow-up question on this. You mentioned, as long as the data is secured, you're okay with that. So, are you taking any specific, steps to secure that data on the assets, or, that is something that you're managing through your virtualized environment?
So yeah, so the ERP resources are managed through the virtualized environment. From the reporting perspective or the company data, right? So we have our BI or business intelligence platforms in place. So that is where a lot of the data, we have about 1,000 active BI users every day. And given the fact that we're about 3 to 4,000 employee base, that's a sizable number. So a lot of that data has, there's a lot of roll and write that kind of governs that data. You can see what, right? So if you're a key account manager for a specific account, you can only see that data. And within that data, a lot of the PSI information is not visible to anyone. So there are different hierarchies of roles, and I think through that we manage that bit. Also, a lot of this data, because of MDM, is kind of containerized. So ideally, you really can't take it out. I mean, you can obviously click a picture in your camera. You can't really stop a person doing that.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can't really, pull this data out. So it's kind of sorted for us. Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. There's a lot of buzz about cloud nowadays in the industry, and with current growth in technology, what do you think? How important is it to migrate to cloud, and what factors would you consider while migrating to the cloud?
Okay, interesting. So let me give you a perspective. So probably we'll be the only logistics company in India to be totally cloud native by end of the year, right? So this is how important cloud is for us in our overall technology strategy. And then coming back to your question, how important it is to migrate to cloud, I think it's a very company specific decision or a strategy. So besides the basic advantages of moving to a cloud, which is say scalability and flexibility, or the elastic compute and storage capabilities, or no overhead of hardware management or server management. Also a move from a capex to an opex spend model, and lastly the performance. So given these five metrics, I think are in one or more of these kind of help you build your strategy or your imperative in terms of moving from on-prem to a cloud, kind of a based organization. But again, that depends on different organizations where they are in their journey and how strategic it is to their nature of business. We believe cloud is really very important for us because of the dexterity that it brings. It kind of helps us to be kind of behave like a startup without being a startup. So I think the speed of change, the speed of bringing products to the market, right? The speed of failing fast and then kind of getting onto your next big thing. All of that kind of scales up when you move to a cloud native kind of environment. And I think in our overall roadmap, it's been playing a significant role for the last 3.5 years. And I think by end of this year, hopefully all our systems, I think about 80% of systems run on the cloud already, and the remaining 20 would be moving there as well. So that's kind of the overall strategy within our context, and I believe this is what organizations need to look at when kind of planning their cloud migration. Also, from a overall perspective, I think going forward, a lot of it would be once you move into that area. I think multi-cloud is going to take up a sizable role in terms of how you reshape your cloud strategy once you're on the cloud. So, what is your multi-cloud strategy once you are a cloud native organization? So that's going to play a more sizable role in the organizations in the next 3 to 5 years, is what I believe.
Thanks, Kapil. And there is another thing that every organization strive to achieve, and which is a great customer experience. And I was reading somewhere, it was written that it would not be price that would drive a brand name or the kind of quality of the product that they provide, but it would be the customer experience which will bring in the brand differentiation. So are you using or leveraging any digital channels to deliver customer experience, superior customer experience, or what is your strategy around it?
Yeah, so I think I am with you on that. At the heart of any business, the center of it has to be the customer, right? As long as you're very customer focused, I think the rest of the things happen automatically. So we obviously believe that customer, is the most important piece of our business story as well. And from an omni-channel span or from an overall customer experience standpoint, we leverage a lot of digital plays. So we use an omni-channel approach to customer experience. So whether it's through our AI chatbots, traditional IVR services, or social channel integrations, or the whole mix of digital plays that are created for customers, say via a mix of mobile apps. So all of them kind of are already in play from a customer to kind of help us with the overall customer experience and kind of help us deliver a supreme customer experience. For example, we are probably recently launched our Alexa skill for tracking. And I think in India, we are the first logistics company to do that. So someone could question the value of having an Alexa skill out there, right, for business tracking or for retail customer tracking. But I think that was a product that got spun off from our innovation lab. So we have a technology innovation lab. And as a part of that, we did a project around Alexa skill. So I think we are looking at different channels because as you know, the speed of adoption and the speed of technology change has really accelerated, right? So Alexa was something that came in recently. There could be a few more skills that are getting added or new technology channels that are getting added every day, whether it's WhatsApp or different chat platforms that are out there. So there's always this constant need to kind of be in every platform. so that a customer can reach out to you through any channel that he or she is more comfortable with. So I think to answer your question, again, customer experience is of paramount importance to us. And in today's space, I think we are almost leveraging all the omni channels that are there out there in the market.
Right, and as you know agree that the CX is very important. The next question is around that only. How do you measure CX? Are there some metrics that you do, or would you want to share some light on the techniques that emerging CX heads can use?
Okay, yeah. So I can talk about it, and I think my CMO can talk a little more in detail about it. But I think the commonly used CX measurement, or metrics measurement channels or out there are, your IVR, your SMS, your outbound, your email, your are some of the commonly used. I believe most of the organizations, including us, use NPS, which is Net Promoter Score, as one of the key index of looking at how our customers are feeling about us, about the brand, about the products, about the services. And also we do a sizable work around the CSAT, which is your customer satisfaction scores, right? So I think for us these are the two main areas, the NPS and the customer satisfaction scores, that we leverage internally to kind of get a sense of how the brand is being perceived, or how our new launches are getting perceived by our end customers.
Thanks, Kapil. So those are all the questions that I had. I'll hand it over to Khushbu again.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for moderating our today's session. Thank you, Kapil, for sharing your insights with us. And thank you for joining us today.
Right. Thanks a lot, Khushbu, and thanks, Saurabh. All right, you guys take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.